Welcome to the Explainer. So today we're stepping into a realm where myth, absolute unimaginable power, and profound spirituality all completely collide. We usually look at modern data or contemporary research here, but today we're decoding an ancient text that honestly reads like the ultimate superhero origin story, perfectly combined with a timeless spiritual manual. We're looking at the Hanuman Chalisa. And look, this isn't just some dusty old poem. It's a living, breathing testament to immense strength and pure, unshakable devotion. If you want to understand how to perfectly balance literally limitless power with absolute humility, well, you're absolutely in the right place.
It brings up this really fascinating question. How does a 40-verse poem, written literally centuries ago, remain the ultimate go-to source of courage for millions of people today? Think about it. Whether someone's facing a terrifying life challenge, dealing with overwhelming anxiety, or just really needing a massive boost of inner strength, they turn to these exact words. To figure out why this text has not just survived but completely thrived across centuries, we've got to break down its structure, the promises it makes, and of course the incredible heroic figure at the center of the whole shebang.
First off, let's establish exactly what we're looking at here. The word Chalisa comes from the word chalish, which in Hindi simply means 40. So it's a hymn made up of exactly 40 verses. It was composed by the highly revered 16th century poet and saint Tulsidas. And honestly, what Tulsidas pulled off here is nothing short of a literary masterclass. He took the massive, epic life of Hanuman, the mighty monkey god, the son of the wind god, and he somehow distilled all of that into 40 perfectly crafted, incredibly potent verses. It's super concise, it's highly rhythmic, and it is specifically designed to be easily memorized.
Okay, let's dive into this. Right out of the gate, the very first line of the main text sets a really surprising tone. Jai Hanuman Gyan Gun Sagar. That translates to, Hail Hanuman, the ocean of knowledge and virtue. Now think about your typical warrior archetype for a second. We usually focus on their huge muscles, their massive weapons, their fierce battle cries. But Tulsidas, he intentionally introduces Hanuman first and foremost as an intellectual and spiritual giant. It's like he is an ocean, vast, deep, and totally unfathomable, of both profound knowledge and amazing qualities. His physical strength, which, believe me, we'll get to, is actually presented as totally secondary to his wisdom.
From that strong intellectual grounding, the text paints this super vivid, striking picture of his physical form. Tulsidas describes him with a brilliant golden complexion, sporting beautifully curly hair. In his hands, he wields a flag and a vajra. A vajra is a thunderbolt, and it represents his indestructible diamond-like force. And right across his shoulder rests a sacred thread. You see, this isn't just a basic description of a fighter. It's literally the blueprint of a divine, majestic being. This specific imagery is designed to instantly command respect and build this awe-inspiring mythic presence right in the reader's mind. So here's the crucial point. What actually drives a being with a literal thunderbolt in his hand and an entire ocean of knowledge in his mind? Well, the answer is tucked into this core phrase, Ram Kaj Karibe Ko Ator, meaning he is forever eager to execute Lord Rama's work. And guys, this single line is the absolute emotional anchor of the entire Hanuman Chalisa. See, Hanuman has limitless reality-bending power. Yet his ultimate motivation is purely 100% selfless. He's not out there trying to conquer kingdoms for himself. He's not seeking any personal glory whatsoever. His entire existence is mobilized by pure devotion to his Lord. It's purpose-driven power at its absolute finest.
And what exactly does that purpose-driven power look like in action? Well, the Chalisa just rattles off this incredible, epic resume of heroic feats. Get this, as a child, he literally leaps up into the cosmos and swallows the sun because, well, he thought it was a sweet, glowing fruit. Later on, he plays the absolutely crucial role in helping the Monkey King Sugriva regain his lost kingdom. He famously takes this colossal, logic-defying leap straight across the vast ocean to reach Lanka. And perhaps most famously of all, when Lord Rama's brother Lakshman is mortally wounded in battle, Hanuman doesn't just go and bring back the healing Sanjeevani herb. He uproots and carries the entire Freegan mountain. These aren't just cool stories. They're real testaments to what actually happens when supreme capability perfectly aligns with an unbreakable will.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it highlights Hanuman's unbelievable physical duality. It's all about his absolute control over his own form and, more importantly, his own ego. The Chalisa talks about his Sukshma Roop, which is this tiny, microscopic form he takes just to quietly slip past the heavily armed guards in Lanka so he can humbly appear before captive mother Sita without frightening her. But then, literally in the very next breath, it brings up his Bikat Roop. That is the terrifying, massively giant form he assumes to literally burn the demon city of Lanka straight to the ground. It's incredible. He adapts perfectly to whatever the situation demands. He knows exactly when to shrink his ego to be a gentle, quiet messenger, and exactly when to expand his might to be a totally unstoppable force.
Because he maintains this totally perfect balance of fierce action and gentle devotion, Hanuman actually receives the ultimate validation. The text recounts this really moving moment where Lord Rama embraces him and says, "Tum mam priya bharatai samabai." Basically, you are as dear to me as my own brother Bharat. Now, in the context of this epic story, Rama's intense love for his brother Bharat is absolutely legendary. So by directly equating Hanuman to Bharat, Lord Rama is taking a devoted servant and elevating him straight to the status of beloved family. It's incredibly powerful. It shows us that true, selfless dedication can bridge absolutely any gap and earn the highest possible grace.
And let me tell you, that grace translates into some immense, cosmic-level capabilities. Let's look at two very specific numbers mentioned in the text, 8 and 9. Tulsidas writes that Hanuman is the master and the direct grantor of the 8 cities and the 9 nidhis. To put that into perspective, the 8 cities are literally supernatural powers. We're talking about the ability to become infinitely small, infinitely large, or even infinitely heavy. And the 9 nidhis? Those are divine, inexhaustible earthly and spiritual treasures. But honestly, here's the most beautiful part of the whole thing. Asberdeen Janki Mata, meaning he doesn't just grant all these massive boons on his own authority. He was actually given the power to grant them by Mother Sita, Janki Mata, as a direct reward for his incredibly pure devotion. So he is the ultimate conduit, right? He receives the divine grace and then he generously channels it out to those who seek his help. And that brings us right to the practical, everyday reasons why millions and millions of people recite this text every single morning. The Chalisa firmly establishes Hanuman as the ultimate protector. I mean, the verses boldly promise that negative energies, ghosts, and demons won't even come near you if you just invoke his name. It says that constant repetition of his name actually destroys disease and deep-rooted earthly pain. He frees his devotees from intense worldly crises, what they call sankat. And wonderfully, the text calls him the absolute gatekeeper to Lord Rama's court. You literally cannot reach the ultimate divine without passing through the gates guarded by his pure devotion. So, as we near the very end of the text, Tulsidas drops a highly specific numerical guarantee, the number 100. The text explicitly states, Jo Sat Barb Path Kadi Koi Chutihi Bandi Maha Sukhoi. Basically, whoever recites this Chalisa 100 times is going to be completely freed from the harsh bondage of the material world and will experience immense, profound joy. It's presented to us almost like a spiritual prescription, and you know, the repetition here isn't just about reading words off a page, it's actually about deeply meditating on these core qualities of strength, knowledge, and selflessness until they literally rewrite your own internal programming, untying all the complicated knots of your everyday anxieties. And this brilliantly brings us to the poet's own incredible humility. Tulsidas, after writing this absolute masterpiece, he doesn't ask for wealth, he doesn't ask for fame. In the concluding lines, he simply refers to himself as the eternal servant of the Lord, Tulsidas Sada Harichera. And his one and only request is, Kije Nath Hriday Mahan Dera. He's just asking the Lord, Hanuman, right alongside Ram, Lakshman, and Sita, to come and make their permanent residence right inside his own heart. Think about that. After a wild journey across vast oceans, massive mountains, and burning cities, the final destination of this entire epic text is simply the human heart. So, what does this all mean for us today? We live in a modern world that is constantly screaming at us to aggressively pursue power, influence, and status, right? But the Hanuman Chalisa steps in and offers a completely different paradigm. It shows us this figure of unimaginable, literal, earth-shaking capability who voluntarily chooses the quiet path of humble service. It essentially asks us, what good is all that power if it's not guided by purpose, wisdom, and pure devotion? When we manage to balance our own personal strengths with genuine, absolute humility, what mountains could we carry? Take a moment to really reflect on that. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and hey, keep learning.